Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I have two very interesting individuals that I want to talk about, and that's Houston Texans CJ Stroud and Arizona Cardinals Kyler Murray. Now, these are two interesting guys for different reasons, two interesting teams for different reasons, but I think we look at this Week 11 matchup, and the biggest thing that I'm wondering is who is under more pressure? Is it Kyler Murray coming off of the big-time contract and really just getting into it? He's still early in his contract for Arizona, and now there's new management. There's new coaching under this system. When we look at it with Kyler Murray, he was really supposed to be that match made in heaven for a guy like Cliff Kingsbury coming over from Texas Tech, now coming into the NFL. He was supposed to be the quarterback guru. He paired that with the traits that Kyler Murray has, with the athleticism that he has, and they thought that this would be a high-powered offense in today's NFL, and it just hasn't gone as planned. Now, the biggest thing I think about Kyler Murray, he's been able to have some success in the NFL. He's had big-time starts. He's been in the MVP contention, but when we look at the back half of the season, when he starts to break down, when the team starts to break down, and you wonder, is that Kyler Murray? That's his size playing to that, or is that also adding, is this some Cliff Kingsbury? But I think now you got Jonathan Gannon. This is a defensive-minded head coach, and this is a team that's not the most talented right now. They have a lot of holes in a lot of different places, but you look at this and say, okay, can we figure out if Kyler Murray, with the rest of the games we have for this season, can we figure out if we want to move forward with this guy? So I think that, albeit this is his second game back from the ACL, but we saw it in the first game, 19 of 32 passing, 249 yards, didn't have a touchdown, had an interception, but I think overall, being able to get a game-winning drive, that's big-time football for Kyler Murray. Like I said, his first game back. So the biggest reason I would say I'm wondering who's under more pressure is because they're also in a position where they cannot go forward with Kyler Murray. The Arizona Cardinals have 2 first-round picks in the 2024 NFL draft, and we're talking about guys like Drake May. We're talking about a Michael Penix Jr. We're talking about a Caleb Williams. Some people are saying his draft stock is falling. I got to go check into that a little more, but I think the biggest variable in this is that we got those 2 first-round picks. Even if we don't get the first pick, the second pick, or the third pick, we can still trade up. And that's what a lot of teams are doing. But you say, if we keep a guy like Kyler Murray, we have some offensive linemen coming in here. We got Joe All out of Notre Dame. We got Olu Fashanu out of Penn State. These are the type of guys you can bring onto your football team, and you still got Kyler Murray. You still got Michael Wilson. You still got Marquise Brown. And now you start to build a foundation, filling some of those holes on the defensive side of the ball. And I think they're in a position where they can build a complete team. But that's if Jonathan Gannon, that's if those guys on that side of the ball offensively are sold on Kyler Murray. So I want to see it in this game, if he can continue what he's doing, if he can even get another game-winning drive, if he can have a good game versus this Houston Texans defense, because they're hungry. Like I said, right now I think they still have some pieces to add to it defensively for DeMeco Ryans type of defense. But even with that being said, I still think that DeMeco Ryans has that group playing to the best of their ability. Now we look at the flip side of this, because there's another quarterback coming out of Houston who is a legit MVP contender. Rookie of the year is a lock for him right now, and that's CJ Stroud. I mean, just to see what he's doing, I think, for me at least, watching the game of football, I'm thinking about probably the best rookie season since Andrew Luck, since Cam Newton. We're looking at guys in that type of contention. Now CJ Stroud propped right into that conversation. And really it's looking like it. I want to talk about the remaining games for the Houston Texans, because they play Arizona tomorrow. Then they play Jacksonville. Then they play Denver. Now, Jacksonville and Denver are 2 pretty solid teams. Denver is looking better. Jacksonville is a very good team, despite last week what we saw against San Francisco. They play the Jets, who are looking incompetent on offense. They play the Titans. The Titans haven't gotten it all together. They're still in rebuilding mode. The Browns, no Deshaun Watson. So we're looking at some of these games, and I think you play the Titans twice, actually, and then you play the Colts. So this is a pretty favorable schedule for a guy like CJ Stroud. If he can legitimately go out here, continue to win, take this team to the playoffs, put up the stats that he's putting up right now, go on that pace, how can we not look at this guy as a legitimate MVP contender? I'm just laying it out there for you. I'm giving you the facts, but I want to know what you think down below in the comments as well. So I'll bring it into this game. Now, this is a guy who's coming off of a game-winning drive versus the Cincinnati Bengals, and everybody's been talking about CJ Stroud, but I like the way he's handled himself. He's not getting caught up into this pressure. He's looking at this and saying, okay, I know a lot of people are talking about me. I know I'm the hot guy on the block right now. I know that people are looking at me and saying, how do we stop CJ Stroud? Because this is a team that can't really run the football. Now, Devin Singletary played out of his mind last week versus Cincinnati. But we look at this game. Dameon Pierce will be out, so that's going to affect the running game. Can Devin Singletary repeat the performance that he had last week? These are questions that we have to ask, but I think overall it's going to come down to it. Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, some of my guys that I'm calling on. Also, when I was looking at the injury report, I saw Noah Brown is questionable. He had a big-time game last week, but I think he'll play. Now, he didn't practice earlier in the week, so that's something we're going to have to monitor. But like I said, he has a plethora of weapons. When we talk about CJ Stroud and the way he's been playing thus far, I don't see the direct comparison with a Bryce Young. Now, this is a different topic for a different day, but we compare their two situations and we say, okay, why is CJ playing so good and why is Bryce struggling so much? I'm going to talk about that because I think it's something that has to be talked about in depth. You got to look at a little film. You got to talk about some different variables and scenarios. But overall, CJ Stroud actually has a good supporting cast. He has a head coach. He has an offensive coordinator around him, has a good GM filling the team with talent. So I'm wondering, can this guy keep it up? Right now, they sit at 5-4. We're looking at the Arizona Cardinals. They're sitting at 2-8. So these are two teams where we're saying we're in very different situations. But for CJ, can we continue to go on this MVP-like pace? Can we continue to have one of the best rookie seasons from a quarterback and just a rookie in general that the NFL has ever seen? For Kyler Murray, can I continue to go on a pace? I had a game-winning drive last week, but can I prove myself to be the guy so they don't have to worry about a Drake May? They don't have to worry about a Caleb Williams or Michael Penix. They don't have to think about that. They can field a team with those 2 first-round picks. Now we can do some things in free agency. We have a little bit of cap space going into next year. Just drafted Paris Johnson. We have some things looking up for Arizona, but it's all dependent upon how Kyler Murray finishes out the season. I think that right now, what I've seen last week, Jonathan Gannon, of course they're going to say it while he's on the team right now, it looks like they're bought into Kyler Murray. But I got to see just a little more, and I think tomorrow is one step further to finding out about both of these two players. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. That's going to do it for today's video. I think this is a very interesting game. It's one that I'll be watching for sure. But that's going to do it for today. And now we out.